So A, the instructions are the same for all. It's find slope. So letter A, I give you the equation x plus y over 3 plus 14 equals 7 and ask you to find the slope. How can I find the slope of that line?
You gotta get in slope-intercept form.
You gotta get in slope-intercept form. How can I do that?
Y equals minus plus b.
Okay, how am I going to get there?
You multiply by 3.
Multiply by 3 and get rid of that complex fraction. Okay, so I've got 3 terms. I take every term times 3 times 3 times 3. Yeah, you could move it over, but it doesn't matter if you do it now or later. Either way is fine. So cross out the 3's on that term, and I'm left with an x plus y. What's 14 times 3?
A lot.
What, 42?
Yeah.
42 and 21, and move your 42 over. And I get x plus y equals what? Negative 21? Okay, now I can go to slope-intercept form, or I can keep it right here in standard form and do negative a over b. The y's by itself, so it's pretty easy. Either way you do it, you're going to get a slope
Negative 1 over 1.
of negative 1, which negative 1 over 1 is the same thing as negative 1, right? They want it as reduced as possible. Okay? Every-
Maybe like the rise over.
Right, but they'll always want it as reduced as possible when you type it in. Everybody okay with the A? 1A, okay?
So A is just finding the slope.
Yep. So find the slope. So letter B is also find the slope. It's just a different equation. So B, you're supposed to find the slope for this equation. And this one's like so simple that everybody always overlooks.
Flip it.
Okay? So what most people do is they look at this and they overlook the fact that there's a negative here, and they go, oh, the slope's negative 8, because it's the number in front of the x. But they overlook the fact that there's a negative here and forget to change all their signs. So you've got to change all your signs first, and then your slope is 8. Okay? Letter C. Another equation. Let's say you got negative 3x minus 4y equals negative 4. Once again, we're supposed to find the slope. So what format is this one in?
I mean, it's almost.
It's in standard form, and remember the way you find slope when you're in standard form?
Oh,
A over
Opposite of A
opposite
over B. So what's the opposite of A? Opposite of A would be a positive 3 divided by B, which is negative 4. There's your slope. Okay, so don't waste your time getting y by itself if it's in standard form. Okay? All right, letter D. D is 6y equals negative 3. The question is, what is the slope?
half, negative a half.
And that's what everybody always says, and that's
No,
not
it's,
right.
Flat.
Oh, it
Even
would be
line.
because it's just y equals
Yeah.
negative a half.
So the equation is y equals
So
negative
there's no
1/2.
slope, It's just 0.
It's just a
So the slope is 0. How do you know it's 0?
There's no x.
Because it's a horizontal line. All horizontal lines have a slope of 0. So if I would have asked you for the equation, you could put y equals negative 1/2. And that's possible. They might ask you for the equation. They might ask you for the
Solve
slope.
one problem.
No, this could be multiple problems. I'm just doing a,
Would you find the slope 3 different times in one problem?
yeah, so they may just, it may be one step.
Oh, I didn't
Find
know
the
that,
slope.
they're, like, putting multiple
Yeah, I'm
y.
not exactly doing them like you would see them on the certification. Okay? Okay, so let's do, what if it was like this? X equals 10.
But this is no room to talk.
What's the slope?
Because 60.
What's the slope?
The slope is 0. 0.
Nope.
10.
Nope.
Oh, it's, there's...
Undefined.
Undefined.
And it's vertical.
Because it's a vertical line. That's the equation for the vertical line. This tells me where it crosses the x-axis. Its slope is undefined. Vertical is undefined. Horizontal is 0. Okay? Everybody good with that? Okay. Example 2. So this time the slope, or this time it's still the same instructions. We're finding slope, but this time you will have been given points. Okay, so let's say you have negative 4, negative 2, and negative 4, negative 11. They want you to find the slope of the line that goes through those 2 points.
Opposite of the x is opposite of Earth. y1 minus y2.
Okay, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, but there's also another way. Change in y over change in x, right? Where you don't have to actually plug the numbers in. So the change in your y values, you're going from -2 to -11, and so Dylan says that's down 9. Is he right? If you start at -2 and you go to -11, you're going down 9. Okay, how about the change in x? If you go from -4 to -4. Oh, what's -9 divided by 0? I can't put that in for my slope. What is -9 divided by 0? Undefined. So, sure enough, if you graph those 2 points, they would make a vertical line. Okay, undefined. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Example, we're still in example 2. This will be B. 2B. Okay, so this time I give you the points. -7, 7, and -11, -1. So once again, slope is change in y over change in x. How are your y values changing if you go from 7 to -1?
So, down here.
Okay? What's from -7 to -11?
So you're -2.
No, it's just 2.
Positive 2, because you got negatives on both. 2 negatives are going to make a positive. Okay? Everybody okay with that? So this one's down 8. This one's down 4. So 2 negatives is going to make a positive. Everybody okay with finding a slope given 2 points? All right. Example 3. So this time the instructions are to find the equation for the line. So in letter A, I'm going to give you a line that has a slope of -1/4 and it goes through the point -7, 2. So I've got a slope with a line, or a line with a slope of -1/4 and crossing through this point. So if I know a slope and I know a point, what form should I use?
Point slope.
Point slope. Makes sense, right? You know a slope, you know a point, so it would make sense to use point slope form since that's what you have. So point slope form looks like this. It's on your reference sheet that I gave you last week. Okay, that's point slope form. And now I want to plug this in for M. And then this is going to be my X1 and my Y1. X1, Y1. So when you go to plug your numbers in, this is going to mean the opposite of Y1. So you have a Y,
-2.
and your Y is a +2, so it's going to become a -2. So there's my Y1. The opposite of Y1 is -2. Your slope is -1/4. And then I have X, and the opposite of X1 would be what? +7?
So y minus 2 equals -1/4 x plus.
Okay, so what can I do to get rid of the fraction here? Take everything times a 4? Okay, so if I take every term times 4, remember this is a complex term and I just need to multiply by a 4 once. So I'm going to have 4y minus 8, -1 times x plus 7. See what I did with the 4's there? This 4 cancels when I multiply by 4. All right, so now if I multiply by that -1, I'm going to have a -x minus 7. And so from this point, it just all depends on the instructions. Sometimes it may say put your answer in standard form. Sometimes it may say put your answer in slope-intercept form. If it says give me an answer in point-slope form, you could have stopped right here, right?
Yeah.
But I have to use point-slope form to get wherever I'm going. So this is super easy to put in standard form if I just move the x over there. So x
The same slope again.
plus 4y is equal to what? 1?
Yeah.
So there's my answer in standard form.
Oh,
If it wanted the answer in slope-intercept form, then I would have to get the y by itself. So to get the y by itself, I could, add 8, and then divide by 4?
So you just,
So-
yeah.
Negative 1/4 x plus 1/4. So there's what the answer would look like if you had to go to slope-intercept form. This is what the answer would look like if you were going to standard form. Does that make sense? So if you need to write that, this is standard. This one is slope-intercept. And this one right here that you started with
Point slope.
is point slope. They're all the same line, just written in different forms. Does that make sense? All right, let's do another one. This time, let's say I give you 0, 11, -2, -5, and I asked you to find the equation of the line, given those 2 points.
So you find your slope,
Got to find your slope. How do you find slope?
changing x, changing y, or changing
Y over
Changing y over changing x. Okay, how's my y's changing? 11 to -5.
16, down 16.
Down 16, okay. How about the change in x?
2,
Down 2. So what's my slope?
8.
8.
You have the y-intercept already. So
No, I do have the y-intercept. So if you catch that, hey, I've got the y-intercept right there, and here's my slope, you can go directly to slope-intercept form. Right?
Go standard form.
So let's see, slope-intercept form, y is equal to slope plus intercept, right? Okay, so there's slope-intercept. How can I get to standard? Move the 8 over.
Negative x plus y.
So there's slope-intercept. Here's standard. And then if I wanted to write point slope, I would just, pick one of those points and plug my slope in. So if I wanted to do point slope, I could do y minus 11, or I could do y plus 5, whichever point you want to use. Slope is 8. I use the 8, so now I got to use the 0. So there's point slope form. But you can have any point on the line here. I could have used the -2 and the -5. So that would be point slope. Okay? Everybody okay with that? Okay, what if I gave you this? This is C, example 3C. If I gave you the points -1, 3 and -1, 1.
He wants to, change one, change that.
Which would be what?
So the first one, it's gonna be undefined.
-2 over 0, which is undefined.
Yeah, so my slope is undefined. What type of line should this be?
Vertical.
Vertical. And you've been asked to write the equation for the line.
So it's gonna be x equals -2.
Nope.
Yeah, because wouldn't it be?
It's not going to cross at -2. Think about those 2 points. If I graph those 2 points and
Oh no, but
-1, 3
yeah, it's -1.
and -1, 1, it's going to cross at -1, right?
okay.
Every point on a vertical line has the same x value. So whatever your x values are here, that's where it's going to cross the x-axis at. So x equals -1 is your equation. And if you need to graph it, graph it. Okay, but
So-
that's the equation for a vertical line.
So I don't know if it's a rule or not, so what if they're always the same? So there won't be a change, so automatically be 0, right?
Yeah.
So you could just use the number instead.
Yeah.
X equals
Yep.
-1 or y, or if it's.
Yeah, if these numbers are the same, then you know it's a horizontal line. Okay? Okay, so when you look at this problem, step 1, it says, step 1 of 3, find the slope and the y-intercept, simplify your answer. Well, that's easy. It's already in slope-intercept form. Slope is 2 over 5. So go to the keypad, tell it I want a fraction, and we'll type in 2 over 5. I'm going to plug in a keyboard for that.
Now I can tell you the graphic next, probably.
So 2 over 5 And what's my y-intercept?
0, 1.
0, 1. Everybody okay with that? So submit. Okay, so next step, step 2. Notice they've got a graph here. Here's your equation.
Yep.
And if you need the previous step answer, you can, but it says points can be moved or dragged using the arrow keys. Okay, so if I wanted to graph this thing, I would want to start right here at y, the y-intercept, right? Put a point there.
2 over 5.
Now my slope is up 2 over 5, so I go up 2.
3 to the 5 over 5. What?
There you go.
You go to the third one and you go to 5.
Let's see, well, let me drag one up here.
Yeah, it is. If you go 2 from 1, that's 3. What are you doing, Poseidon?
Well, I thought it would give me another
Where
point.
did you go to school
Hey,
at?
listen, oh, you know what? I think it just wants me to plot the y-intercept. So step 2, only plot the y-intercept. Okay, submit.
Now it's gonna say graph it completely.
Okay. Indicate the slope of the line by plotting a point on the line other than the y-intercept. So now plot the other point. I don't know why they don't just have us do it. Yeah, they should have us just do it all at once, but they don't. 1, 2, 3,
So it's
4,
basically
5.
just,
There's the other point, and it shows you the line going through the original spot. So there you go. All there is to
Just
it.
like,
This is
basically.
gonna be so easy.
Okay, so this one's a one-step problem. That one should be easy enough. I'm going to skip that one. Let's look for another one of those three-step problems.
Just gonna give you the slope every time.
Okay, on this one, express the given equation in slope-intercept form, simplify your answer. So to get this one to slope-intercept form, what do we have to do?
Move everything with the y over, and then you divide by 3, and that's.
All right, so if I move everything over,
No, if you just move the 6 over, you're all
well, you need to move the x over too. So 3y is equal to 2x plus 6, divide by 3. You get what, 2/3 x plus 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So
And that's simplified. Simplified.
y equals,
2/3 x.
need a fraction,
2 over
2.
3. Negative 2 over 3.
I don't think it was negative.
Psych.
X. And what was my last number, plus 2?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, step 2. Points can be dragged, so this is just like the last
It's not
one.
about -9 though.
Jeez, Dylan.
Oh, look at this one. Plot the point on the line with the x-coordinate of -9. Okay, so if your x-coordinate's -9, remember you can look at your previous answer. Here's our previous answer. And if x is a -9, I need to find y and tell at that point. So in other words, replace x with a -9. Okay, so 2/3 times -9 plus 2. Okay, replace x with -9 and work it out. So what happens right here?
Let me just do -3.
So 2 times -3 is what?
-6.
So what's -6 plus 2?
-4.
Okay, so there's your point. So that's the point we need to plot. -9, -4. Okay, everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
So -9, -4. We'll drag it. Is that the right spot right there?
Yeah.
Okay, hit submit. And step 2, they're going to want another point so that we can make a line. Now plot the point on the line with the x-coordinate of -6. So exact same thing, but now I've got to replace x with a -6. Okay, so if I replace it with a -6, I'm going to have 2/3 times -6
Over 1.
plus 2. So 3 goes in here how many times?
-2.
-2. So 2 times -2, -4 plus 2.
-2.
All right, so I plugged in a -6 and I got out a -2, so now that's the point I need to plot. -6, -2. So here's the -6. -2, and there's our line. Here's the original point we plotted, here's the new one. Hit submit,
Hey.
next, and we'll skip around and see if we can find. That's just like the one we just did. Let's do this one.
So it's gotta be well,
Here's your equation, right?
yeah.
What type of line's that? Yep, vertical, and they're asking me for what, the equation, okay?
So it'd be
X equals,
negative
You have to do x equals or?
yep, they want the equation. An equation has to have an equal sign in it. Okay, so there's the standard form of a vertical line. Hit submit, hit next, and now it says plot the point on the line with a x coordinate of y equals 5. So if I got an x coordinate of y equals -5, where was this thing supposed to cross the x-axis at?
-4.
So we just gotta slide it over here to -4, right?
So,
Submit. Again. Now take this one, slide it over to -4. And there we go. Does it look like the right line? It does. Hit submit.
I'm gonna go certify some easy. We didn't have to do any work on paper yet.
Yep, and let me double check this. When I hit practice, I got one a little different. That'll be fine. Let's try this one and see if it'll do. I know this is like the last one. I'm just trying to get one like I got when I practice. So x equals 1.
No, standard form, it's in standard form, isn't it?
Nope. This is standard form right here. There's no y. The constant is always over here by itself. It's like x plus 0y. You just don't have to put the 0y.
Okay.
Submit.
But if you put 0, why would it count on right or wrong?
Yeah, I think it would have said you need to simplify it. All right, this is just like the last one. It's not going to do it for me.